in my logo. It says knowledge is that power which liberates us from suffering. So now there is a need, knowledge of the science outside in these trying times, and the knowledge of my true nature that liberates you from the suffering. Then there must be a knowledge that must be clear. There is a clarity in the mind that leads to conviction. And conviction drops that denial and that anger, that hesitation. How are you, Jerry? Good.
Hi.
Hi.
Yeah.
I said I should be there for 10-15 minutes before we start with it.
Yeah, sorry, I was a few minutes late. I was having
No,
some technical difficulties.
it's okay. I posted one video on, there is 88 years old in New Jersey. She has been with me for more than 14 years. Even now, she does one lesson every. So she is very much outward moving. Oh, let me go to the friend. Let me invite them for a lunch or a dinner. I said, stop all this. Stop all this. You are already recognized that you are a wonderful person. So don't try to be a wonderful person in these trying times. Check your mind. Check your mind. One master I was studying, it's the name of the book is Nashkarmya Siddhi, means how to perfect that yourself. So there are series of steps. So one student asked, his name is Sureshwaracharya. He's a great master, lived in, I think, in 12th century. Why the hell you are writing book? You are seeking some recognition. You are seeking some authentication. And he laughed. He said to his student, I'm writing because my master asked me to write. I am writing to express what is my inner nature, whether I recognize it or not, whether I live it or not. So in a modern terminology, modern language, he said, I don't want to be a New York bestseller. I'm not writing the book for you. I have written it for myself in order to express. You see that how foreign this thought is for Americans? It's totally foreign. So I'm writing to express what is my nature, what is my realization, what is my experience. So there is no outer motivation. I'm reading it at least, I'm studying that text almost the 10th time. So I did not write until I got the urge. Can I explain? Can I express myself? That is, you see the beauty of the highest level of realization. And that is the need of the hour. So I told this person, and I posted that video. It's a wonderful to go through it. So this is what is happening. Where is David? Here is, have it. So, it is good to start in
Morning all.
Then I will repeat. We should read, there is a Kessler's book, and the title is on grief and giving, finding the meaning of grief through the 5 stages of loss. And I want to pick up some of the, especially these 5 stages.
Is that David Kessler?
I think that, I have the PDF, but Kessler's, I know the name. You see that in Eastern wisdom, we listen and learn from the teacher. The knowledge is power. So when we don't listen, then knowledge is not the power. And when the knowledge is not the power, then what happens in the mind during these trying times? Denial. That is what the Kessler writes in the first step. The stage 1 is denial. Denial. So I continue to defy, deny, and denigrate, even if the knowledge is passed on by the media, by the Google online, social distancing. We consider the mind claims social distancing as isolation. Confined into the room. So what solution the great masters offer? What they say? They say, do not allow the mind to face to the world outside. Just tell the mind to face inside, to your true self. And in that true self, the peace, happiness lies there. Look inside instead of creating a reaction in the mind. What is that reaction? It's a denial. And from where the denial comes? My mind is so much habitual of seeking pleasure outside. I'll go to the restaurant and have a good dining and pleasure. I'll meet with my friend. I will go to my office. I'll go to the mall. For what? For seeking pleasure. What is the knowledge outside coming from the science? Social distancing. But still the mind pulls me to go out. Why? I'm denying. So once we start thinking that the peace and happiness is inside, come on my mind, face inside. This is the right time. You have enough time to discover inner peace and happiness. We have to think like this. Simply denying will not work. No, I deny, And the second stage, what the Kessler says, because of the denial, there is a conflict in the mind. Okay, what I will do? Nothing will happen to me if I go today outside, meet my friends. You see today in the news in the CNN, 165 or 70 years old died, perhaps in Montana, no, in Georgia. I don't remember the state. And all his friends went to the cremation. And all ultimately were found infected with coronavirus. When the mind is pulling you outside, when I deny it, but when I continue to deny, the second stage is the anger. Anger comes. So we have to understand clearly, we have to think it again, why I'm going out, why my mind is pulling me to go out, why, because I'm not able to go outside, I deny and I feel isolation. So first, denial leads me to kind of an anger, agitation, reaction in the mind. That ultimately leads to isolation. Again, what should I do? Do nothing. Be in peace. Start thinking peace and happiness is within me. My true nature is full of peace. So why it happens? The sudden closure, the sudden confinement within our home makes the mind to react. Why this mind is reacting? Because it does not want to. It feels that the habit is not being repeated. It reacts in anger. It reacts in agitation. Social distancing causes emotional upset. I cannot touch, I cannot hug what I say the love, what I say that I feel very good. Emotional upset causes anger, agitation, aggression in our attitude. Remember this. Because our habits are challenged. So I have to think of that habit. If the habit is pulling me, let me think. I have acquired this habit and repeated this habit days after days, weeks after weeks, months after months. And still, I never lived in peace and happiness prior to this isolation due to coronavirus. So how my mind, you can claim that I can live in peace and happiness. So when I think, thinking means sweet, I'm replacing the wrong notion that causes the denial and the anger. If that intellect and the mind is not clear what we are going to do, even if you do 100 hours of meditation practice, it will not bring any result because the mind is still thinking. It is in the denial mode inside. It is the anger mode inside, and outside you are doing the practice, eyes are closed. Let us feel calm. So I feel calm outside and anger inside, the denial inside. Don't do that. It will not help you. The Kessler third, he says, now after denial and the anger, it's a wonderful, that guy puts in a very beautiful way. Then the mind starts bargaining. How it bargains? I cannot go outside. I'm reacting. Let me take a cup of tea. So I take 10 cups of tea. I'm bargaining. And I have some scores to settle in my family with the members of my family. Because of that anger and emotional upset, I start fighting with those people. Bargaining. You see that? Bargaining. That is the third one Master speaks. This Kessler speaks about. And when I continue to go this denial, anger, bargaining, what comes? Inside I feel total sadness, loneliness. It is because of that sadness how I start reacting. I'm lowering my immunity down in that anger. Remember, the immunity is the most potent weapon in the body to fight with this virus. See that psychosomatic reaction starts. So I'm just translating, and according to the Eastern wisdom I'm talking of, and ultimately, you see that now, understand that. Now understand the entire process of Eastern wisdom. The mind is facing to the world. It should face to the world without any craving, without seeking pleasure outside. There are three things that this mind is seeking outside: pleasure, power, possession. Pleasure, power, and possession. So when the mind is obsessed with seeking power, pleasure, and possession outside in the world, that this mind lives in the denial mode, lives in anger, is always busy, is always reacting, has a duality and a conflict. And now compare this when the mind is facing to the self. When this mind is facing to the self with a constant thinking and contemplation that the peace and the happiness lies within me. I am not isolated, but I was given an opportunity to discover inner peace and happiness in my life. I was given the best opportunity now. There is no pressure from the work, no pressure from the friends, no pressure from the possessions. Drop this pressure by thinking, make the mind clear with this knowledge. This is, now I'm coming and linking it to the meditation or mindfulness. Mindfulness or meditation or any practice has two major steps. And from these major steps, you can have the sub-steps. What is the first major step? Because my mind is not aware of this knowledge of the Eastern wisdom, so the first major step is preparing the mind. That is known as a personal effort. Don't get carried away by the information in the Google. Mindfulness is effortless and natural. First, I have to prepare myself. First major step is prepare yourself. Personal effort is required. Don't say it is effortlessness. Buddha realized that state of effortlessness after 13 years of the practice. And your mind claims, just I have read it, it is effortless and natural. Without doing any practice at all. Just understand that. Be very clear. I'm not talking of cult, dogma, belief, religion. I'm just talking of the knowledge. So the first step is the right knowledge. Let the mind be convinced, be very clear. And under the personal effort, we may have lot of steps. My mind is still running outside. It doesn't want to leave. So I need to add lot of other steps. It may be breathing, it may be mantra, it may be more stuff. You can include the steps of the Kundalini. So now you experience through your personal effort, the mind is looking inside. Then the second major steps comes. What is that? Breath mindfulness. Do not focus on the breath. Focus means effort. So second major step comes when the personal effort has reached to its saturation point. And you experience the mind is looking within. Mind can stay in the body. Mind can keep the body still. Mind experiences that state of relaxation and steadiness in the body. That is what Patanjali says. What the Patanjali says? Sthir sukham asanam. That is the preparatory step. So personal effort must be done. And once that effort reaches to its saturation point, then what happens? Just keep looking at the breath. The mind will live within, and mind will reflect that inner peace and happiness. But simply saying, I focus on the breath mindfulness. Did it really work? It worked for a minute, but after that you forget it. Let us do the practice now after understanding. Close your eyes. Close your eyes means what? Understand at every step with the right knowledge, and that will help you to go deeper. Why we close our eyes? It is symbolic. What is symbolic? That the sense perception, that knowledge by the sense organ of the world outside cannot lead you to peace and happiness. It's a symbolic. So by closing the eyes, you are shutting off all the sense organs. Means you are aware. You see, we are picking up the personal effort. Now, be comfortable. Being comfortable is asking the mind, can you face to the body instead of the world to make it comfortable so that in the journey ahead, the mind can continue to move within. So what we do, you see that we do nothing and still we are doing something. Move the mind on the neck joint. So the mind gets an image of the neck joint because of its perception through the sense organ. And we instantly jump to the higher. What is that? Move the mind on the neck joint and now feel the sensation is subtle. Feel being comfortable. You can adjust on a line if it is not aligned. If you feel any unease, what you are doing? You are dropping that denial and the anger in the mind. You are dropping and dissolving. So move the mind on the neck joint and instantly the mind rises. It experiences sensation, being comfortable, and steadiness. You see the subtle point involved. So I'm making the things clear so that once you do it, the intellect will return again and the mind will push you, let me do the practice again. Move the mind on the shoulder joints. Shoulder joint is physical. We move to the mental. Sensation, being comfortable, and steadiness. Move the mind on the hip joint. Feel the sensation. Being comfortable. Hand steadiness. Knee joints. Feel the sensation. Being comfortable. And steadiness. The entire body. Move the mind on the entire body. Due to denial, due to anger, due to sadness, ultimately due to isolation, the mind does not go to the entire body easily. So I'm repeating again. Move the mind from the top of the head to the toes. Just be there, feel the presence, and experience sensation. Being comfortable and steadiness. Our master of the Eastern wisdom, they say that first clear understanding, deeper understanding, subtle understanding of the mind so that this mind should not react in any way during the practice. So we don't hit the mind directly, that is, having denial, anger, or isolation. In these trying times, we hit it indirectly. And that is the part of the personal effort. So just, you see that the moment I speak of the next step, you just do it without thinking. to purify the mind. Look deep inside the forehead in the space. You are aware of the space and start breathing quick and short breath from both the nostrils through the chest. Continue. The mind will say no, and you say yes. Why? Personal effort. And stop this, do nothing. You see that? We just navigate a little bit to the second major step of doing nothing. At the same time, experience the changes that you may experience now, recognize them, accept them. Why? We are doing it. It is a first major step of personal effort to help the mind to start looking within. The body should remain in that state of stillness also, but how to achieve that? So we raise the prana from the lower to the higher center by sound of humming. 10 times we will do it. Keep your focus deep inside the forehead. In the personal effort, we use the word focus and whatever the word we want to use it. So take a deep breath into the belly. Continue to inhale into the chest, the long, deep, silent breathing. Lips remain together. Focus inside the forehead and start making the humming sound louder, deeper, and longer, 10 times only. Empty the lungs completely by doing the humming and make it louder, deeper, and the longer. But while breathing in, you have to maintain your awareness. You see that? You're putting the mind into a deep, silent, slow breathing and louder, deeper, and longer humming. So what is going to happen? The mind will break the habit. Let us do it 10 times. Take your time while inhaling. The mind will be in a hurry, and that hurry depicts denial, anger, and the habit. Don't do that. Now stop this humming sound and experience the state you are in. Just check, is the body living in the state of the steadiness? You experience being comfortable deepens, your sensation deepens. These are the few of many indications telling us we are progressing into the first major step of any meditation or any mindfulness. But we want the mind to settle in that state so that we can jump into the second major step. What is that? Effortlessness. Simply a witness. So let us settle down into that state, and we understand what it means by settling down. How we settle? By the next step. It is a semi-active step. Means 50% personal effort and 50% non-effort. Move the mind on the head and the neck. Move the mind on the head and the neck slowly, gently. How come? As if the mind is touching the skin of every cell of the skin of the head and the neck. And the moment the mind moves and expands, you have a deepening of the sensation. You experience relaxation. You experience stillness. Knowledge part. Are you talking of the stillness of the body? No, I'm talking of stillness in the body. The body will continues to do its own work at the minimum level. You have a movement of the blood circulation, the cells, the belly and the chest, they are moving. We are talking of stillness in the body. So just keep looking at that experience. Move the mind on the right arm. The mind moves from the right shoulder to the fingertips. You experience deepening of the sensation, relaxation, and stillness. We understood every meditation has two parts. The personal effort part helps us to manage our pain, denial, anger, anxiety. The problems caused by the mind looking outside and seeking peace and happiness. That nature of the mind we are dropping with understanding, with practice, with experience. Move the mind on the left arm. Be there. What I'm saying, ask the mind to be there on the left arm. So you will also understand the subtle movement of the mind. Mind continues to be there. You are winning. You have started working on the mind. And once you start working on the mind, the success is always there. Experience sensation, relaxation, and stillness. Move the mind on the chest and the belly. The mind is picking up every cell of the chest and the belly and the spine. It is not in a hurry. You see that when it is not in a hurry, you live into that wisdom. When you live into that wisdom, you experience sensation, relaxation, and stillness. The mind moves on the right leg. So even if there are sometimes the mind moves the body, it starts scratching just out of the blue. So the next instruction, you listen carefully so you can turn the mind. Move the mind on the right leg. Consider, these major parts of the body are the doors. You can enter into your house from any of these doors. So even if your mind has causes some distraction and movement in the body, don't take it seriously. Move the mind on the right leg. Be there. Feel the sensation, relaxation, and stillness. Move the mind or look at the left leg. You see, it is different than scanning. With the wisdom, we understand with the clarity what is moving the mind on the left leg, for example. The moment you move it, you will feel deepening of the sensation. And then continue to be present there. You experience relaxation and you experience stillness. So what is the point of confirmation? When there is an experience of sensation, relaxation, and stillness, you have done it. The mind has started turning within. And move the mind on the entire body, from the top of the head to the toes. Take your time. The mind is simply looking, but still it is doing something, so we say it is a half the personal effort and half a state of doing nothing or effortlessness. But when you experience sensation, relaxation, and stillness, you navigate to the state of effortlessness. How to achieve that? To be a witness of any change that is happening in the world outside in terms of any inputs from the sense organ, in the body. You may have a variety of experiences. The body may be sinking down, rising up, feeling freezing, tingling, numbness. What should I do? Recognize and accept. That is a witness attitude. Sometimes the breath rate and the rhythm changes. What should I do? Do nothing. But how to know that? How to discover that? That leads us to the second major step, effortlessness. Is the breath going in and out? Yes. Do I have to make any effort in the breath going in and out? No. So why don't I should be aware of the breath? So awareness of the breath is awareness, knowledge, and experience without asking the mind to do anything. Casually. What is the knowledge? The mind gets by looking at the breath. The breath is going in and the breath is coming out. What is an experience? When the breath goes in, I feel the sensation inside the nose. When the breath comes out, it strikes the tip of the nose, and I feel the sensation. That will keep the mind engaged and educate the mind how to live into that state of doing nothing. And the third, still we ask the same crazy mind, please do not change the rate and the rhythm of the breath. 3-point awareness. In the state of sensation, relaxation, stillness, in the state of being comfortable, continue. Even saying continue does not really explain the state of doing nothing. We are just here and now. Why we are aware of the breath? In order to gain an experience consciously so that we can evolve. That is why we named our session Let Us Evolve Together. The crazy mind say, what I'm doing? And then it will say, no, you are doing something, and then it moves the body. That is why I said a state of doing nothing is awareness, knowledge, experience. The mind is not changing the rate and the rhythm of the breath. What is the knowledge? The breath is going in and out. And what is an experience? The mind is feeling the sensation when it goes in. Mind feels the sensation when it comes out. A state of doing nothing, effortlessness, naturalness. The state of doing nothing. In that state of doing nothing, the mind continues to reflect on the state of sensation, relaxation, and stillness. It doesn't leave that. Remember this. It continues to reflect in the background what it reflects. It continues to reflect in the background that I'm comfortable. I feel the sensation. In that state, the mind is looking at the breath in the state of doing nothing. A state of doing nothing reflects nothingness, aware, deep inside. In a real state of doing nothing, or if I say it is a real state of breath awareness, the mind does not entertain any thoughts like, how long I have to do it? This is too much. This is too less. These thought enters because of the past impression, but the mind does not entertain. And when it does not entertain, we are there. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. We are not rubbing our palms in this practice, but we will also keep a distance of our palms from our eyes. So just become aware of the right hand. Become aware of the left hand. Become aware of the space in front of your eyes. And in that space, ask your mind, what is your experience, good, bad, high, low? That is how we learn. And open the eyes inside. We will share our experiences now, followed by question and answer. So first, let us David share his experience.
I'll turn my mic on.
No, that was excellent, Girish. Thank you. It made me realize how much my mind is in control. So it was a great exercise to just feel the subtleties. And what I really noticed when you were talking about breathing in through the nose and feeling it, and then breathing out, feeling it on the tip of your nose. I don't know. It just got it. I don't know. It just really shut my mind off and got me focused within like I've never felt before.
Oh, wonderful. You got it. You got it. You got the right thing. Knowledge is realized in stages. It cannot happen instantly.
Right.
Wonderful. How are you, Jerry?
Doing well, thank you. Stephen's here. Hi, Stephen. I think that's Stephen.
Stephen?
Yeah, I think it's Stephen that's joined us.
Let us, Stephen, share your experience first. You have to unmute your phone. Let's, Jerry, you continue sharing your experiences in the meantime.
Okay. For me, as you guide us through meditation today, the levels of change in the sensations are really interesting for me. So the waves of just that awareness and the waves that change, and I notice sensation kind of through the body differently. So it's
Yes.
nice relaxation.
That's another beautiful experience. I normally talk about it in a different way. how do you see and feel the breath is different from how do you see and feel the body. So I give it a word. Physical mind looking at the physical body, and the subtle mind is looking at the breath. That is what you explained. The different levels and layers of the sensation indicates the mind is going within.
Exactly. It's like Shrek peeling back the onion layers.
Wonderful. That is wonderful. In the higher practices, I pick up all those steps in a different way. How are you, my friend Lara?
I am good. I really like the action practice. So the breathing and the humming is super helpful. I almost feel like it helps tune out the static.
To go into transcend. Yeah, transcending. Yeah.
Bring that quiet in. It helps me just clear the clutter really from the mind. And so I can be more present and be more active in the participation.
Yes, yes. You see that when you take a deep, silent, and slow breath, and when you make a sound of humming, the prana that is clogged in the lower center starts rising up. So we say in a proverbial phrase, the topmost center is the center of Rama. Rama is known as the highest God, and the lowest center is known as Kama. So Kama means all the desire, craving, isolation, anxiety, problem. So when you lift the prana from the Kama to the Rama, your clutter disappears. But one thing we should always understand, I'm invoking one of the higher principles. What is the opposite of action?
No action.
No action. And what is the opposite of knowledge?
Ignorance.
Ignorance. So meditation is a process of removing ignorance to get the knowledge of reality. Can action be opposite of knowledge? No, it can never happen. So that is why our master says the meditation has two major steps. First, the personal effort. You remove the clutter. You can say purify the mind. Ask the mind to face inside. But there are hundreds of steps, which leads to personal effort. But any personal effort which is a part of action, the karma, cannot lead to the removal of ignorance. That is why the second major step. A state of doing nothing and state of doing nothing and state of doing nothing and entering into that state. The last point here also, when you desire, say you want to buy a car, so you have to make an effort. What is the destination? Car. Where it is? Outside. What we are doing in meditation, the awakening to my true nature. Where is the true nature? It is inside. Am I creating true nature? No, it is already there. I have to find what is already there. Why I am not able to find out? Ignorance. So to get the car, personal effort is required. To find my true nature, no action is required. Very subtle understanding. And let us now have any question to summarize. I found this master, this Kessler is wonderful, who talks about this denial, anger, bargaining, sadness. And then after sadness, he says, then, I accept. What I accept? That is the problem of science. What I accept? Let me accept my anger. Why should I accept my anger? Anger is not my essential nature. If it is my essential nature, then anger remains with me 24/7. So there is a departure of the philosophy, the principles of Eastern wisdom with the science. Then the science is manage my anger, manage isolation. How can you manage isolation? How can you manage management of anger? Anger management techniques. Lara, that does not exist in our dictionary. So now see, you start thinking, anger is not my essential nature. Anger is caused by non-fulfillment of my desire at the physical, at the subtler level. I told you many a times, Jerry, David says, why don't you listen to me? So I want the fulfillment of my desire. One example. I'm citing an example. You see that? So can I pick up that threads of the movement? Mind is moving outside to fulfill my desire. So we don't manage the anger. We don't want to manage the anger. We want to go to the root. We want to transcend it. And the moment you transcend it, the denial also drops, and ultimately you experience that state of inner peace and happiness. And last point, then another point, that what is the evolution of the body and what is the evolution of mind? Our title is Let Us Evolve Together. What is evolution of the mind? And what is evolution of the body? We cannot have further evolution of the physical frame. This human frame is the last point of physical evolution, according to the science. So let us agree with the science. The physical evolution is complete. Why it is complete? I cannot have a luxury to have 6 sense organs. There are only 5 organs, and they are highly developed, which is not present in the other animal species, right? Now, what exactly is the mental evolution? Mindfulness or meditation is nothing but a mental evolution. When we were born in the lap of our mom, how the mind was working. Mom, crying. I wet my bed. Crying, hunger. Very lower level of the mind. You can say rudimentary mind. You can give the stage to the mind. So now I grow older, I-ness comes. I says, I like you, I hate you. The duality comes. Then I reflect that opposite thoughts in the world. I have likes and dislikes, profit and loss, pain and the pleasure, and all kinds of duality, dual state of the consciousness. Now I experience the peace which has no opposite. I experience happiness which has no opposite. I experience love within me which has no opposite. I have evolved my mind. That is the next stage of evolution. Now I am trying to manage my hate with love, coming from the mind. Now I manage my mind only with the love, only with the peace, only with the happiness. That is the next stage of evolution of the mind. So you rightly choose the topic. Let us evolve together. Now see, your mind lives into that state of peace and happiness which has no opposite. How it will respond to the world, how it will respond to the social distancing, how it will respond to the isolation in peace and happiness. And your mind will continue to express, come on, honey, no hugging this time, let us wait. No, I'm just telling you. Just one example. So no, you are not craving for it. There is no opposite tendencies in the mind. And losing and dropping that tendency is a process of evolution. Why? The evolution is seeking the ultimate harmony. The evolution is seeking the permanent peace. The evolution is seeking the permanent love. And where it is located deep within us. Stephen, why don't you open up now? Are you sleeping? Are you aware?
Maybe it's not Stephen, but I'm not sure. Whoever's joined us, I thought it was Stephen. So I'm not sure if you can unmute and you want to.
Can you unmute whose last two digits is 54? Can you unmute and share your experiences? That is how I can recognize. I don't know the name. Last two digits are 5 and 4. Can you introduce and share your experiences, please? I'm sorry, I don't remember your name. Or the one who is attending the session with his or her smartphone. The mind has millions of options outside. It has only one option, my true nature inside. That is what the meditation is. Once we reach to that state, so anyhow, I think he or she will share her experiences later. Wonderful. So,